Hello there. So it's official. The people of Northern Ireland have been thrown under a bus by the Irish Border Protocol. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. This should be explosive news, but it seems the Union of the United Kingdom is of little value these days, especially where Northern Ireland is concerned. Further, there is still talk about the UK dynamically aligning with the rules from Brussels because of the Irish Border Protocol, all over the so-called sausage wars. And no, this one is not about Matt Hancock. But more on that in a minute. I've recently talked about a judicial review action being taken in the Belfast High Court against the Northern Ireland Protocol, which has put a border in the Irish Sea separating Northern Ireland from the rest of the UK. This legal action has today been rejected by the High Court, but in the process the judge also ruled that the part of the 1800 Act of Union talking about the people of Northern Ireland being equal to those in the rest of the UK has been repealed by implication. Despite the long-held view that a constitutional act like the 1800 Act of Union cannot be subject to implied repeal. And one commentator for the Unionist Voice, Jamie Bryson, wrote, "The enormity of the path chosen by Mr. Justice Colton cannot be overstated. He has purported to make new constitutional law in the United Kingdom, which has no grounding in any legal authorities." And one of the litigants in the case, former Brexit Party MEP Ben Habib, has already tweeted, "Heads up. We will be appealing this politically charged judgment on the protocol. There is no way we will rest knowing the Union of the United Kingdom has been broken." And Habib has a crowdjustice.com campaign running to support it. Link in the descriptions box below. As well as Ben Habib, the case was brought by Belfast Agreement architect Lord Trimble, former Labour MP, now Baroness Kate Hoey, former DUP leader Arlene Foster, former UUP leader Steve Aiken, and TUV leader Jim Allister. And they were joined by another case brought by Pastor Clifford Peebles, whose case was also rejected, all of them hoping to get the protocol overturned. But today Mr. Justice Colton ruled that the protocol and associated Brexit withdrawal legislation conflicts with, but supersedes, the 1800 Act of Union. But further, that by removing the right of the people of Northern Ireland to vote on their own future, the protocol somehow does not breach the 1998 Good Friday Belfast Agreement, nor the human rights of the people of Northern Ireland. This will concern and anger many people in the UK, and today the last question at PMQs came from DUP politician Ian Paisley Jr., who asked, "Today the Belfast High Court has actually found that the protocol does conflict with the Act of Union, though it does not break the law. That it has repealed aspects of the Act of Union which is in direct contravention to the commitments that this government has actually made to the people of this kingdom. The Prime Minister will be aware that litigation is still ongoing in the High Court in England on a commercial case that could result in the loss of earnings claim of hundreds of millions of pounds by British businesses trading in Northern Ireland. Under Section 8 of the withdrawal agreement, the Parliament here is sovereign. The judgment today confirms that Parliament is sovereign. Prime Minister, you have a solid majority on your benches. Have you the will to now finish the job, to reverse the mistakes of the Northern Ireland Protocol, to seize the moment and to defend the Union and to unilaterally fix it once and for all and put Northern Ireland out of its commercial, social and political misery?" To which the PM Boris Johnson said that the government would study the ruling in detail, but that he could give his assurance that nothing will affect the position of Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom, and we will make sure that we uphold that. I sound the engine of a bus being revved up. Especially as the can of the much vaunted sausage war over the import of sausages and chilled meats from the rest of the UK into Northern Ireland has today been kicked down the road for a couple of months, before kicking off all over again in September. The UK government said, chilled meats from Great Britain, such as sausages, which would otherwise be prohibited in Northern Ireland, will continue to move from Great Britain to Northern Ireland after the UK and the EU agreed to extend the grace period, allowing this until the 30th of September. So everything will go quiet again until the end of September, at which point expect to see the EU coming out of its corner, swinging its protocol sledgehammer once again. Now, some of the wording in the UK government's statement about this worries me. The government proposed to the EU that it would be sensible to extend the chilled meats grace period on certain conditions, and detailed discussions have followed between the government and the Commission. Crucially, the agreement does not require the rest of the UK to align with any changes in EU agri-food rules during the grace period. There is no dynamic alignment. And that worries me because the no UK-wide dynamic alignment with the EU bit only applies to this short 3-month extension. What it does not say is there will never be dynamic alignment. And Lord Frost said, we are pleased we have been able to agree a sensible extension on chilled meats moving from Great Britain to Northern Ireland. One that does not require rules in the rest of the UK to align with future changes in EU agri-food rules. Once again, where's the unequivocal assurance that there will never, ever again be Brussels and ECJ control over UK affairs? And what about upholding UK food standards and the EU deciding to revert back to the pre-BSE practice of feeding animal remains to other animals as cheap feed? No wonder the EU is worried about UK meat going into Northern Ireland, because they might opt for UK meat that has not been fed on other animals rather than EU meat that has. Moving on. So, July the 19th is to be Freedom Day after all, when all COVID restrictions are lifted for the last time, forever. Or maybe not. Yes, that's right, the 3 weeks to flatten the curve has turned into 2 years to flatten the economy. But hey-ho, let's just forget about that one for now, because that's in the past and we will never have to go back to that dystopian nightmare of lockdown ever again. Or so we're led to believe. But contracts are being renewed as I speak for more COVID marshals, more tests, more vaccines, and extending the use of testing stations and the like. So I, for one, am not holding my breath. The people have, for the most part, been compliant. They have not questioned the government course of action and have done as instructed. Either out of fear of COVID-19 itself, fear of peer disapproval, or fear of the government. However, now that most of the adult population of the UK has taken the pharmacia, and the jib-jab jamboree is very soon heading to our schools without the batting of eyelids, it does look like the argument for maintaining any further social restrictions has very little support from the public. And also from the media who tell the public what to think and believe. That's right, the people have lined up and been good little boys and girls. Except for those few horrible little blighters who marched upon London in their millions, BBC dozens, to oppose the government on this matter, yet received zero coverage by the press other than to be framed as nasty criminals breaking social distancing rules. Whilst the man responsible for putting social distancing rules in place, one Matt Hancock, was busy attacking the Pink Fortress. And such was his belief in the importance of his own social distancing rules, he decided to break them. Yes, 3 weeks to flatten the hump now becomes a few months to hump the rump. Just like Professor Neil Ferguson, whose own conviction in social distancing and lockdown rules was so great that he also thought it was okay to break the rules because that's how much it actually mattered to him when the opportunity of a bit of gland-to-gland combat was on offer. So, as a top politician, Matt Hancock really was, in one sense anyway, an organ grinder. And according to some, he also used taxpayer money to employ his own personal pencil sharpener, who also provided horizontal refreshments as required, if you get my drift. Yes, children and grandparents would die alone and be unable to have their parents or grandchildren at their side when they passed away. Couples who had been together for their entire lifetimes, unable to say goodbye for the final time. But it's okay for Matt Hancock and Neil Ferguson to break lockdown and social distancing rules to engage in a bit of stuff in the muffin. If that doesn't make you angry and question what has been going on, then nothing will, and it's too late for you. But maybe the thought that the rules will now be relaxed for the wealthy and powerful to enter the country and sidestep quarantine rules and the like, as long as they will be bringing an economic benefit with them, will make you ask a few questions. The first being, why now, if the lockdown is to end so soon and be so irreversible? The rich and powerful have always managed to use money to get what they want, but now they will also have the law on their side. Laws that you and I have to obey, but they do not. Is that the new levelling up we keep hearing about? So what's your opinion on the Northern Ireland Protocol and lockdown ending? Please like and comment below.